Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are privileged today to be joined by one of the Alan Kulwicki Driver Development finalists. That will be Carson Haislip. Carson, great to speak with you again. Spoke with you a couple of months ago when you were announced as a finalist, but I would imagine your life has changed quite a bit since then.
Yes, sir. No, we've had a really great year and a positive outlook on everything we've done this year. Just learning and trying to get my name out there, just to get a shot. But no, we've done really good this year and hoping to continue it. It's been nothing but great this year with the Kawiki program and just the amount of support they've given me is kind of crucial for how good we have done this year.
Getting your name out there, that's one thing you just mentioned. I would imagine that your social media has exploded. You're getting recognized on the street, things like that. How has it affected your life?
Yeah, no, definitely. Literally every single one of our social media platforms has grown. We're trying to keep working and incorporating stuff to make it even more, popular and stuff like that. But no, you say, people knowing you off the side of the street. But I was in Planet Fitness last night working out and had some guy call me over talking. He was talking about the race Friday night and the modified race. So, it was a pretty cool moment. But no, now that you mention that, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I would imagine that's part of this, right? So, helping you get ready for that big moment on the big stage. Of course, a lot of it has to do with your performance on the racetrack, which I've taken notice. 4 wins already in 10 races. I'd say that's pretty good. How would you assess it?
Yeah, no, we've been really grateful for our finishes this year. We've worked really hard, and we still got a little bit to go. We're not the best we want to be, but it's part of showing up to the racetrack every week. It's getting better and better each week. But no, 4 wins, two 60 lap feature wins, and then we also won two twin races. So super cool. It's not always easy to win twin nights, so that one was cool for sure. And that was right after the passing of legend Kyle Busch. So it was super cool to kind of pay tribute back to him. I was around him for just a good bit at Wake County Speedway. He actually stood in the back of my truck and spotted for his son one night. So it was super cool to honor him and finally, get another twin night. It was actually our first twins of the year. So starting it off with two wins was pretty cool.
You mentioned Kyle. That certainly affected everybody in motorsports, whether or not you've worked in it or you're just a fan of it. It certainly has touched us all. It sounds like you spent some time with him before he passed. What impression did he leave on you?
The biggest impression he has left on me was the dad he was. He was every time I saw him at the racetrack, he was always there to help his son out. And, you don't see that. I mean, you see dads and fathers helping their kids out, especially when they make it to that level, but not to the extent he was. I mean, he bought legend cars to go racing just with his son. So that really stuck out to me and just how nice he was outside of his car. I actually interviewed him with my teammate Phoenix Kimball. So that was pretty cool. Also, he's a big name, and he was a big name. So anytime you're a little grassroots guy and you get to talk to someone like that, it was always super cool. But no, he was a great guy. I know some people had their mixed opinions on him, but from what I've always cheered for the 18. The M&M's car is definitely my favorite. But no, I've talked to him so many times, and he's just always been the same nice guy that's always just there for his son and hoping to make him better. And Brexton's a heck of a driver, and he's just
There
on
is.
the perfect path right now.
As a young driver yourself, I'm sure you had a lot of questions for Kyle. What were the things you wanted to speak with him about? You said you interviewed him, so I would imagine there were some curiosities that you had that you wanted to find out the answers to so that you could apply to your craft.
Well, really just finding out, obviously he raced on Sundays, so getting to a racetrack on a Friday night and then getting back to his racetrack on a Sunday night, kind of asking the balance of that, and really just the asking him about how his nerves are because I know when I race, my parents get nervous and stuff like that. So as
Yeah.
for somebody who races weekly in the NASCAR Cup Series, I was just interested to know, like, does it make him nervous watching his son? And he said it's not too bad, but that is something I guess I didn't think about until I really asked him was, he gets to do this every week. So, I went into it thinking, no, he's not going to be nervous at all. He does this every week, but no, he did say he was a little bit.
Well, as you said, he's an absolute legend, and I'm personally happy that you got some time to spend with him. And take some information from him that you can apply to your craft as well. Let's get back to your season a little bit if we can. We talked about the four victories. You mentioned some of the highlights, but what are some of the defining moments that you've over the course of 2026 you've encountered?
Well, definitely, we went to South Boston with our older car. We didn't have too high of expectations, just trying to venture out, like I said earlier, get my name out there, and we struggled. We struggled really badly, and we ended the first practice day. And we're like, "Hey, we're going to be all right. Like, we're going to be pretty good." And we showed up Saturday, and we still weren't great. But it's all part of learning. We had to go there and just practice. So. Get I guess the car better for the next time we go. I know it's tough showing up to any given racetrack and just being good. So it always takes work. And those guys that race there weekly and have for 10 plus years, they're out there every Friday testing either way. So that's for someone who's been there for, like I said, 10 plus years, they're still trying to make their cars better. So showing up just once and trying to be, as good as them, it's tough, but we took that race, we learned, we move on, and we come back with a better car and just try and work on it and do the right things. We learned kind of everything not to do. So it was a tough weekend, but it's all part of racing. You're not going to win every race, and you dang sure aren't going to finish the best you want to every single race. So it's all part of racing. It's the mental side of it, and you got to keep moving on.
How do you deal with the mental side of it? You have a disappointing day. How do you move on? How do you put that past you?
Well, what I do, I look back in the past and we've had success in a lot of stuff. So, I can't let one race define who I am. Obviously there's struggles in it all, but, kind of just got to brush it off your shoulder, move on to the next week. Otherwise, I tell everybody this, you carry something on your shoulders for so long, it's just going to keep weighing you down. So, just kind of get it off your shoulders, move on to the next week and try your hardest next week.
Great attitude, and something that takes some drivers a long time to learn, but it sounds like you've learned it already. I would imagine part of that too is the mentorship that you're getting through this program. Cal Lawson, I know, is your assigned mentor, if you will. He was a crew member, I believe, on Alan Kulwicki's championship team, if I'm not mistaken. What have you learned from him?
Just really what I've learned from him is, just like I just said, getting stuff off of my shoulders. He's been super supportive, and like I said earlier, everybody in the program has been, and he's been super supportive. We don't really get to talk as much as we like because he works a night shift and I work all day in the day. So finding time is tough, but when we do, it's always a good talk and. More so, really, we talk a good bit about racing, but a lot of it's just life stuff. And, I feel like you always need to have at least somebody to talk to, not just about racing, but about anything. And, he's a good one and he'll bring you a smile to your face, just the stories he tells you about Alan and all he's done. And, it's super cool.
What do you think of the history? I mean, I'm sure he's brought you up to speed on some of the stuff that happened back there in 1992.
No, definitely a lot different than today's stuff. Just the way he talks about how they spent money then and how they would, get a certain amount of tires and then go sell them to another team if they wrecked out or something like that. I remember him telling me something about that, but no, that stuck out to me because nowadays it's just everybody goes and buys as many tires as they can and they throw them all on that weekend. Nobody's gonna go home with, sticker tires and just, shrug off. At least now, they're going to go home. They're going to put them on their car for the next run they go out. They were selling their tires just to keep racing. So, that's something you don't see a lot in racing anymore. So, that I thought that story stuck out to me pretty good.
Yeah, a lot has changed. That's for sure. Hey, before we go, just a few more things I want to talk to you about. I got a bit of a surprise for you as well. I don't know if you knew this. I'm pretty sure you don't. You are leading the standings right now amongst the finalists. What's that mean to you?
That is awesome. That's just super cool. And, I was talking to my buddies the other day and we were talking about it and just knowing the point standings were going to come out soon, I was like, man, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where I'm in because I was one of the five underbirds selected out of 100 and however many it was, which that's a cool accomplishment as it is. And no, we're going to keep striving forward and get better at everything we do. And super blessed. And like I said earlier, just the amount of support I've had from the Kawiki program has been nothing but great. And I get to go meet everybody this weekend at South Boston, so that'll be super cool for me. But no, leading it, I knew it was going to be tight. We've had good on track performance, so we've done, the right amount of things off the track. So just keeping up, doing what we're doing, and I think we'll be just good.
You just kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask, how do you approach the upcoming races knowing that you have the lead?
Well, definitely, leading anything, just like if you were leading on lap 50, because this is just the first segment. So, you got to keep pushing forward. The race never over till it's over. I don't know how many times I've been leading in the first segment of a race and then fell back. So, kind of got to keep your head on straight and keep doing what we're doing and just keep growing and striving to be better.
Just to wrap this up, Carson, how would it affect your life, you think, and your career if you were to win this?
It would definitely affect it in the great way. I see many drivers come out of this program with, a lot more than they came out or came into it with. So I think it would definitely help me out, and I want to keep striving to, get that opportunity and be the one that does get the Quickie Cup. And it's to be super cool to me. And just like I said earlier, out of 100 and however many drivers, we were one of the five. So that was a big accomplishment as it was. I don't know. Well, I think me and my parents, we were so happy that night. Just super, super happy. Just something that came our way and we were able to get in. And like I said earlier, it's been nothing but great. And just keep doing what we're doing and don't give up.
That's a great attitude. Never give up. That's right. Hey, it's only June, so I know there's a long way to go, but we're wishing the best of luck to you and your team as you chase this.
Thank you.